And we're live. Jeff Davis, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Thank you for joining. I know
Of
you're a
course.
busy guy. I know you got a lot of projects going on, but thank you
A
for carving
couple.
out the time to talk a little bit about what you do and better inform people out there that may want to explore your industry.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
So with that being said, what is your industry, sir? What do you do? What's your 9 to 5? What do you call yourself? What's your actual job title?
So I'm a video producer, and I actually started my own production company a couple years ago. And so what I do is pretty much producing any type of video content, whether it be um, for a wedding, whether it be a small commercial for a business, or what we're getting into a lot more lately is actually doing more short films. So really any type of video or creative content that I can kind of get my hands on and pull out a camera and film and edit something, that is basically what I'm doing full time. So
Nice, nice. And yes, I know I follow you on Instagram and I've seen some of your work. You've recently, I thought I saw you join some kind of YouTube uh, series of some sort, like you're as a producing, on the producing
yes,
side. Um,
yeah,
you shoot like weddings and important events, which is also I know from experience that could also be a quite rewarding, right? But I know it's a lot of pressure. I know that's a lot of pressure,
yeah.
but definitely see you involved doing all these things. So how long? Because you said you made your own company now, so you are the guy
Mhm.
now. How long have you been, just even before the company? How long have you been in film making or media editing?
Oh man. Probably, I mean, I first like picked up my first camera when I was maybe 9 or 10. And so I've always been, I mean, I'm 29 now. So for the past, 20 years, I've always been kind of messing around with cameras. And there was maybe a 4 or 5 year period where I was taking it kind of seriously, doing a lot of skateboard videos. But then again, there was maybe a 7 or 8 year period where I really didn't film anything or edit anything at all up until I would say 3 years ago is when I started filming and editing again and actually trying to take filming and editing to the next level and really trying to make a career out of it these past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say your videos are amazing, dude. Much better than mine. I can say that much. So I can definitely see where you're taking this serious.
Hey, thank you for that, man. You inspired me, I'll tell you that, when you shot an interview of me.
Yeah, that was a while back. Time flies. Time flies. Well, that just shows that
For
you
sure.
somebody can pick something up, and if you are really down for it and you give it your all, you don't. There's no such thing as, oh, you have to go at this pace, dude. You can like leapfrog anything. You know what I'm saying? Like you can, because I consider you way better than me now, and it's weird because if you said I inspired you, it's just crazy how things go, and there's no rules to
Yeah,
this thing. There's no boundaries, no limits.
yeah, totally.
Um, so I'm gonna go straight into the next question. The I guess people want to know a little bit more. What are some of the pros and cons of being in media producing per se?
I would say some of my pros and cons um, of I love working for myself and kind of creating my own hours, I guess you could say. But it goes much further than that because holding a camera and filming something and editing a video, pretty much creating something from nothing, it's just always been a passion of mine. And I've always loved being behind the camera and just filming and making cool videos. So being able to do that for my actual job is a huge pro for me. Um, some of the cons right now would be I'm still in the beginning stages of my business. So I'm not at the point where I can turn down certain jobs. I'm kind of still at the point where it's like any job that comes my way, I'm most likely going to take it on. I don't want to say any because I mean, there's a few I've turned down.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, there's just some videos that aren't as enjoyable as what I'd like to be doing, you know? So that's a con. Sometimes the hours can be kind of crazy, especially doing weddings. I mean, that's like guaranteed you're working on a weekend. And especially if you have two in a weekend, I mean, there goes your whole weekend. So, I mean, right now, and these will probably change over time. You know, I'm sure as the business grows, there's going to come new pros. There's going to become new cons, you know,
True. Good
but
point.
yeah. So, I mean, right now that I would say those are probably the main ones for sure.
Yeah. Right now, when you were speaking, I think the network must be a little wonky. Your image kind of froze a little bit, but the audio still came through.
Mhm.
So we can keep going. That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Very good way of breaking it down, Jeff. Yeah, because our issues or any profession's issues will never be the same. They'll be ever changing,
Hmm.
which highlights something that I'm a big preacher of, is that you better be in an industry that you enjoy. You
Yeah.
can't go in the industry based on the potential problems you may have, because those ABC problems you have now may evolve in the future, and there'll be new ones. So as
Oh,
long as you're in
totally.
it for the right reasons initially, I think you'll be set.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always going to be new pros, new cons, especially when, you know, just about every video you're doing is with a different client. You know, you're working with different people all the time. So you're constantly running into just new personalities, new people. Some people might be more picky than others. So I mean, there's a lot of different situations you're going to run into with each video, and some of them are going to be great. They're going to breeze by like butter, and some of them are going to take a lot longer because maybe you have a picky client who's going to kind of nitpick each little scene in the video or something. Um, but you finish it and you move on.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing comes easy. Even in your favorite ideal industries, there's going to be
Yeah.
challenges.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, that's where growth comes from, and that's how we change and
Yes.
we grow and become better. You know, we better ourselves. So
Yeah, amen to that. So, and this is fine if you don't feel comfortable answering this, but I usually like to ask this to everyone that we speak with. So just so because the general public may not know exactly still what this all means, or if they could make a living out of this, or what kind of numbers we're talking about. So what's the average price range? If you can give us like a ballpark estimate of what, let's say, you charge for like a wedding per se, are
mhm.
you comfortable disclosing that? Just
Yeah,
rough
that's fine.
numbers.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, there obviously in video production there can be some really great benefits and some great pay, some great money that you make. Right now, like I said, I'm still in the beginning stages of creating my business, so you know, each video I do, and talking about like more promotional videos or commercial type videos, each one I do, the price is a bit different. I would say for those type of videos, my average price would be anywhere from 800 to 1500. And for weddings, it's honestly probably about the same for weddings because I have multiple different packages. So I would just say for where I'm at right now, the average would be about 8 to 15. And I mean, granted, I've definitely done jobs for less and I've done some for more, but it just depends on who you're dealing with and what you're promoting.
Yeah, no, that's still great information, because somebody can potentially do 4-5 gigs in a month, and you could potentially be set for the month, from a
Yeah.
financial standpoint. So that's very, very generous uh,
In
revenue
in
there.
the ideal in the ideal world, that would be the case. But
Of course. You have to have, first of all, you have to have a client, right?
yeah,
Your
yeah,
work available,
yeah.
demand, and then you have to get it. And, the editing and all those other factors is definitely, but this is helpful. This is helpful.
Hmm.
Jeff, moving on to one of the most important questions that people that watch this may want to know. If I'm new to filmmaking, if I'm new to video editing, but I want to go into video editing, I love it and I want to get good at it and I want to make a living out of it, what's your personal recommendation? Where should I start first? Where should people go and start first?
Are you talking about like filming and editing as a whole, just the whole
Let's say they want to
videography
shoot
pretty much?
weddings. They want to make the 1,500, the 1,200 bucks a video shoots. What do I need to do to start off?
Um, I would say it's obviously going to start with a camera. Now, I mean, you don't need the best camera out there. I started with a very basic $300 camera, but
Wait. You shot a wedding with a $300 camera.
oh, I started on the Canon T3i, and so that was kind of, now this was 3 years ago when I first started again. I mean, back in the day, I was using, Sony VX and stuff, the mini DV cameras. um, But yeah, so I mean, that's what I started on, and I actually used that Canon T3i for, I guess, almost a year before I upgraded to something a little better. And I think I've upgraded maybe 4 times over the past 3 years. And it's just as the business grows, you'll grow too, and your equipment will grow. But for starting out, my biggest encouragement would be to not cut any corners. And there's so much gear out there right now. There's so many um, expensive gimbals and lenses and camera rigs, and everyone's trying to buy the latest gimbal and latest camera rig. And this is where I kind of messed up too, because instantly when I started filmmaking, I was like, oh, I have to get a gimbal. And I kind of skipped buying a tripod and actually focusing on still shots and framing my shots and making them look nice. And I bought a gimbal and just instantly started moving the camera around, which is okay. But I think what that did for me is I kind of lost sight on basic framing. And I think as a filmmaker, that's something that any filmmaker should really focus on at first, is framing a nice image that your client's going to be pleased with, and something that's not awkward, you know. So doing that, and that's the most basic thing. I mean, you can do that with a cell phone, You can make quality videos with a cell phone, but really just understanding basic framing, I think, is a huge key in creating some quality videos. And so that would be a big encouragement for me to start out, man, is just start from the beginning. Don't cut any corners. Get a basic camera, get a tripod, and don't compare yourself to others.
Oh
Just
man, that
start
is
making
so good.
videos.
That's such a good piece of advice, dude. Don't compare yourself. So that has haunted me so bad.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, man, I suck. Look at the YouTube video that I just found online. Man, I'm gonna give up right now.
Yeah, I mean, I still do it, and I can guarantee you, every filmmaker, everyone who pretty much does anything probably does that to an extent. But I think a key thing is to realize and recognize that, and just step away from it when you do it. Because there, and I'll just use this for instance, but there's a couple other filmmakers in the town I live in. And when I started, a big problem I had was I was constantly comparing my videos to their videos. And I thought their videos were way better, of course. So I'm like, man, how am I going to get any jobs when I got this other person, who's creating better videos like that? They're going to get all the clients. How am I supposed to get any clients when mine aren't as good? But the reality is that's completely not true, because my style, each filmmaker's style is a little different, and there's going to be different clients that go to each person. There's no way one filmmaker is going to get 900 clients or even 10 clients in a week. I mean, maybe that happens, but it's probably rare, especially starting out. And there's just different clients that are meant to contact different filmmakers. And so there's something you got to realize is you're going to have people that contact you, because there's going to be people, no matter what, that like your work. And there's going to be people that, and those people may not like the other person's work. And there's going to be clients who like the other person's work, but they don't like your work. And it's going to be that way for anyone. If you look at movies, every movie is really highly produced. But there's certain people who dislike certain movies, and there's certain people who like those movies.
Very
So there's
good
going to be
example.
clients who like your work, and there's going to be some who don't, and there's going to be some who choose you and some who choose the other person. But you just have to realize that if it's something you're passionate about and you really want to seek out, just keep chasing it down, and it will work out as long as your heart is in it.
Yeah, that's so true. I cannot dispute that at all. And here's the final and biggest question out of all this. Do you think it is possible, being realistic here? Let's be realistic. Let's be married to the truth here for everyone watching. Is it possible in 2020 for a filmmaker, a videographer, to make a living out of that income alone?
Yes, definitely. I'm doing it. So
wait, aren't
here's the
you?
proof.
I was under the impression that you're like, aren't you married now?
I am.
Does your wife work?
She does.
Okay.
So
True. That's
so
okay.
I guess well, because we got married a couple months ago, back in June. But before we got married, I was living in my own place, and I was actually full time on my own for a little bit, living in my own place. So it's definitely possible. And I mean, it's only been growing over, since the past few months, since we got married and moved in. Yeah, it's totally possible, and it's going to look different for everyone. Some people are going to start and they're instantly going to catch traction, and they're instantly going to start making some decent money. And there's going to be some people who start and their process is going to look a lot different. It might take them a couple years to get to a point where they're finally making some type of steady income. Everyone's process is different. So that's where the comparison thing can come in handy again. Don't compare your process to another person's, because it's going to look different. It's going to be different.
Yeah, no, great point. For example, I love how you said about the movies. There could be a movie that wasn't, $200 million. I don't know if there's actually that's how much they cost to produce, but they say $200 million, crazy production, crazy editing, crazy special effects, and it gets a 60 in Rotten Tomatoes or on the critic side. And then you have movies like, what's the Paranormal Activity? The one was like super low budgets, or movies like that, like indie films that end up breaking the box office. So to your point, quality doesn't necessarily mean superiority or just gonna steal all your clientele. Just because Sprouts exists doesn't mean Whole Foods can't exist.
Right.
It all exists.
Yeah, because there's going to be different people who go to Sprouts and different people who go to Whole Foods. So,
and some go to Walmart, man.
And some are going to go to Walmart. Yeah.
Eggs are eggs.
Yeah.
Excellent.
For the beginner filmmakers, some are coming to Walmart.
There you go. I just gave you an idea for
actually probably way more at Walmart. So there you go.
Good point. Jeff, that was basically all the questions we had. We're trying to keep it short because I know I want to be respectful of your time and also kind of get straight to the point. But thank you so much for answering and educating us tonight in the art of filmmaking, in the filmmaking industry, and basically what that looks like from a financial standpoint. So your information was very, very helpful. And I hope this helps people out there that want to explore other industries, and maybe this is a calling for them. We never know.
I hope so. There's always going to be new filmmakers coming out, especially these days where everything is digital and video.
Everything is social media, man.
Now's the time. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, we're going to wrap it up. Jeff, thank you for joining. And for everyone else, thank you so much for joining us here at BracketMentor. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Jeff, take care, buddy.
Hey, thanks a lot. Have a good one.
You too.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.